Can you start a cute little Hoya collection without spending a ton or really knowing what you're doing? I bought most of my Hoyas as cuttings and today they're thriving in LECA. It's been a slow but steady budget-friendly journey and today I'm excited to show you what it looks like in real life. So in this video, I'm going to show you my humble Hoya collection from oldest to newest. I'm going to talk about when and where I got the plants from, how much they cost, what they looked like when I got them, and how they're doing now. Most of them are in LECA, so I'm going to talk about how I did that as well. So if you're nervous about starting plants from cuttings or using LECA, hopefully this gives you a better idea of what it actually looks like. So the first Hoya plant I ever got was the Hoya carnosa. It was sold to me as a pubicalyx, but I soon realized that it wasn't actually that, and together with my friend Mix on Plants and Crafts Rachel, we searched around the internet and found the closest resembling this one is the Hoya carnosa jade, or just a regular Hoya carnosa. I got this as a starter plant and it cost me 7 Bulgarian lev, which is around €3.50. It was originally in soil, and at one point after it started growing, I decided that I wanted to grow most of my plants in LECA, so I experimented with it, took some cuttings, rooted them a bit in water, then stuck them in some LECA, and they've been living in LECA ever since. The cuttings were started in January of 2024, and this is what the plant looks like today. After its latest repot in May, you can watch that video on my channel as well for even more information on this plant if you're interested. It has bloomed for me twice on 4 or 5 peduncles, but since the repot it has stopped blooming and it lost some leaves, but it's putting out a lot of new growth, which makes me feel hopeful that the plant has recovered from the shock of the repot, which was kind of brutal. It's now living here on the balcony. Previously, when it was a lot smaller, it was living in my son's room on the windowsill. But I find that it living here on the balcony is better for it because I much prefer the leaves that it's putting out now, which are a bit darker and bigger, and the shape is more like the shape they're supposed to be. Some of the leaves that it had on the windowsill were kind of small, brighter, lighter green and a bit deformed, you can see here. So I'm hoping it likes living here on the balcony. We'll see if it blooms again, because on my son's window it's very sunny, so it bloomed a lot there, but here it only gets about 3 hours of direct sunlight in the morning, and then the rest of the day is bright to medium indirect light. It's living in a pot with a reservoir and a wick. I've been giving it about 200 milliliters of water per week since it's been here. I'm expecting once it grows more roots into this bigger pot, it's going to take more water than this. But for now, that's how it's doing. And it sits right here behind me. The next Hoya I got is the Hoya australis, the regular green one. And I got this as a full plant from the supermarket. It was, I think, 10 Bulgarian lev, which is around €5. And I've just been letting it grow out for now. You can see it's just vining on itself. And it's putting out a lot of new growth. I've just let it grow, but last night I took some cuttings from it. I just unwrapped one of the vines and took cuttings, and they're rooting in water at the moment. So I'm beginning this plant's transition to LECA, and I'm probably going to give this away to my mom or my friend, we'll see. It's mostly getting bright indirect light here on the balcony, with probably an hour or two of direct morning sun. As for watering, I think it's pretty root bound in this pot because I need to water this about twice a week at this point. So I might have to up-pot this before I give it away to someone. The only trouble I've had with this plant is due to the underwatering and too much direct light on my son's windowsill when it was living in that room. So when it dries up, these leaves, they're much thinner than the carnosa leaves. They wrinkle up a lot and start drooping, yellowing, even falling off. And if it gets too much direct sun, let me see if I can find an example to show you. This is what happens. This is what the sun damage looks like. It's black. Yeah, there's some on this leaf as well, but maybe you can see it better from the back. See here? These black spots also might be due to the plant not having enough water, so it can't stand the heat. But yeah, I think it's much happier here on the balcony, getting less direct sun. The leaves are much darker and juicier looking than they were in my son's room, so it's happy here. The next 3 Hoyas I bought at the same time as cuttings, and first I'll start with the Hoya Mathilde. This is what it looks like now. It has 4 active vines, so 1, 2, 3, and the longest one, 4. I got this on the 21st of February from a Facebook group, and it cost me 9 lev, which is around €4.50. I got it as a pretty long cutting, so I separated it and stuck it in some water first. Then I decided to move it to some perlite, and after that, when I saw root growth just starting, I stuck it in some LECA, put the pot in a reservoir with pretty high level of just water in the beginning, and it started growing roots. And I think 1 month later I saw the new growth points coming out, and right now there are even peduncles on it. There's one here, there's another one here. Can you see that one? And yeah, another baby one down here. I don't know if this is going to bloom soon, but even the fact that it has peduncles makes me think that it's really happy. This longest vine has even started to branch out. So this one is a pretty fast grower for me at the moment. I have not had any complaints or any struggles with her, and I'm just waiting for her to fill out and make me very happy. The second Hoya from the same purchase in that Facebook group was the Hoya Sunrise, which I also got as a pretty good size cutting for 9 Bulgarian lev, which is €4.50 again. And I again separated the cutting into 2, stuck it in some water, and then this was the fastest one to put out new root growth, so it was the first one to come out of the water jar, and I put it in this very small yogurt container with no drainage for the time being, and it's given me 2 new vines, this one and this one. This is the older one, and this one as well is the old one. There is another growth point that is beneath the LECA. It's over here, and it's just starting to peek out or to try and peek out. And I'm hoping it does, because I really want a big bushy red Hoya Sunrise. And it has started sun stressing a bit. You can see the leaves are a bit redder than the green ones below. So these are the greener ones, and these are the newer ones with a bit more sun stressing. So I'm keeping this Hoya in particular on that southeast window, where it gets about 6 hours of direct light, and I'm hoping that summer is going to give me a red-leaved Hoya. The only complaints are my fault. So the fact that it's in such a small container means that it doesn't have enough room for a bigger reservoir, so I'm having to fill this up every 2 or 3 days. So I'm filling it about halfway, no more than that, because I don't want to rot the new growth point that's trying to come out. So this one needs a repot desperately. Another thing that really worried me were the woody parts of the stems and the petioles, because I thought this had flat mites in the beginning when I had stuck this in the water with the other propagations. And this is one of the reasons also that I took this out of the jar and stuck it in LECA individually, because I wanted to keep it away from the others. But I don't think it has flat mites because it's growing so much. So it was probably just, I think these woody, this corking, I think it's called corking, happens when plant has to be sturdier, has to bear more weight. I will soon have to be repotting and probably trellising it, because I do want to keep it in that window, so it has to face the sun, and to do that it has to be on a trellis. Hoya Sunrise. And the third one from the same order, from 21st of February, is the Hoya callistophylla. And wow, this was just a 4-leaf cutting when I got it. Just these bottom 4 leaves, this, and this one. Everything else you see has happened since probably April. The cutting cost me 10 lev, which is €5. And it was a 4-leaf cutting. I'm going to include some pictures in here so you can see what it looked like. And a very long stem. And I stuck that in the water with the other propagations from the other Hoyas. But this one was the slowest to root. It took probably 2 months to start rooting. I was a bit worried about it because the woody stem was starting to get soft and it cracked, so I cut the bottom of it so it didn't start rotting the rest of the cutting. And then I thought that maybe water was too much moisture for it, so I put it in perlite with the Mathilde. I checked on it pretty regularly. The moment it started rooting, I took it out, put it in this pot of LECA with a very high reservoir, so the water was touching the new emerging roots. And with time, I started lowering the water level of the reservoir. I think it started putting out the new growth around the middle of April or the end, I'm not really sure. It had 2 growth points. One of them is dormant now. This is the only leaf that's come out of that growth point. It's here in the back. But this one has really taken off. So I have on this vine here, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 new leaves. Some of them are babies. It's really interesting how it decides which leaves to start to activate, because with this big one, there's a baby leaf next to it. I don't know if you can see that here. That's only now starting to get bigger, and the others have already started growing. So I don't know how it decides what leaves to activate so they can start growing. But I love this lighter green with the dark veination. So I'm trying to give this one as much light as possible so the leaves can get a bit lighter. This here is an example of a leaf that has grown in lower light. When I was traveling and I put some of the plants a bit further back from the window so they don't dry out as much, this is the color of the leaf that happened, and this one here as well. I prefer this color, because the contrast is really striking, and I just love this veination. I love this. And I just fill up the reservoir whenever it gets dry. It's dry now, so I should refill it. I give it around 100 milliliters every 5 or 6 days, depending on how hot it is by the window. I'm not even bothered if this blooms for me soon or not. I'm just in love with these leaves. And the last Hoya I've gotten so far is the krohniana Super Silver. I got this on the 16th of April this year, and I can't remember the price exactly, but it must have been somewhere between 7 and 12 Bulgarian lev, which is 350 to 6 euros. I'm leaning more towards 7 lev, so 350 euros, because I thought it was a steal, and I thought I was getting one cutting, but the lady sent me 3 cuttings, and they're not only cuttings, but they had peduncles on them, and I was just so happy with what I got. The cuttings had also started rooting along the stems, so I didn't waste any time putting this in water. I split each cutting into 2 and stuck it in the LECA, very high water level of the reservoir again, until it started rooting, and then I started gradually lowering the level of the reservoir. And after I saw that there were enough fruits, I started feeding it with my nutrient solution. I didn't mention that, but all my other Hoyas are getting just my regular hydroponic fertilizer that I use, which is by Hesse. It's Hydro Growth. I'm also giving this highlight on my son's southeast window. Watering is 100 milliliters of nutrient solution every 6 or 7 days, again depending on how hot it is by the window. It's definitely taken off. Everything you see that's poking out is new growth points, everything, and I'm just amazed at this. We have varying degrees of silver on the new growth. There is some that is more kind of splashy, and on this side we have some that is more like actually silver, and I love all of it. The peduncles that it had, when I got them, they already had some little buds forming on them. They were activated, but they blasted when I stuck that in LECA to propagate, because of course it's in propagation, it can't support the new flowers. But I'm not worried about it, because I've heard that this one is a very fast grower and very prolific bloomer, so I'm very excited to see that. Okay, those are all my Hoyas for now. A few things I wanted to add in the end. I chose to grow my Hoyas in LECA and most of my plants actually because it fits my lifestyle and my plant care style. I don't have to question whether the plant needs watering or not, and I love being able to see new root growth through the clear pods. Doing things this way has made Hoya care a no-brainer for me. I just fill up the reservoir about once a week with my nutrient solution. That makes sure the plant has constant moisture levels, and the LECA makes sure that the plant has enough aeration. And being relatively cheaper than specialized soil mixes and being reusable on top of that means that I don't have to spend a fortune to keep my Hoyas happy. Another way I keep the plant care costs down is by using the windowsill space so that I don't have to buy grow lights. And the most important way I'm saving money is getting my Hoyas as cuttings. And I know this means that it'll be a while before they get big and lush and start blooming. But for me, that's the most exciting part, going through all that with them. If you liked this video, feel free to stick around because there's more budget-friendly and LECA-centered content coming soon. And please share in the comments what your first Hoyas were and how you were growing them. Or if you don't have any yet, which ones would you like to get? That rhymed. Anyway, thanks for watching and I'll see you next time. Bye!